Hello guys, good evening. Tonight we are going to be reading more of the Empath Survival Guide by Judith Orloff, MD. We left off talking about on the chapter regarding narcissists and other energy vampires. She goes over narcissists and then she goes on to the next, I believe, 5 or 6 different types of energy vampires, how to help ourselves protect against them, how to deal with them. We did read about the first 2. And now we are on number 3. So this is the 3rd type of energy vampire. And before I start, just want to tell you, my son has a friend over and they're being kind of loud. So I apologize if they are being loud. Okay. So the 3rd type of energy vampire is called the victim. Energy vampires with the victim mentality drain empaths with their "the world is against me" attitude. They don't take responsibility for the problems that happen in their lives. Other people are always the cause of their distress. Empaths often fall into the compassionate caretaker role with victims, trying to solve their list of problems. Of course, this drains empaths. Victims typically respond to any possible solution with "yes, but." So the empath may get frustrated and end up screening emails or calls or purposely avoiding this draining person. Although we want to be supportive, the victim's barrage of complaints is too much for a sensitive person to take. Empaths must learn to assert boundaries with people who have a victim mentality and be careful not to turn into a codependent or their therapist. Protection strategy: protect yourself from victims. Set compassionate and clear boundaries. People can hear us better when we're not being snippy or impatient. Use the 3-minute phone call. Listen briefly, then tell your friend or family member, "I support you, but I can only listen for a few minutes if you keep rehashing the same issue. Perhaps you could benefit from finding a therapist instead." Say no with a smile. For instance, with a coworker, you can smile and say something like, "I'll hold positive thoughts for the best outcome possible. Thank you for understanding that I'm on a deadline and must get back to my project." With friends and family, briefly emphasize with their problem, but then say no with a smile by changing the subject and not encouraging their complaints. Set limits with body language. Set limits with body language. This is a good time to cross your arms and break eye contact to send a message that you're busy. The 4th type of energy vampire, the drama queen or king. These types drain sensitive people by overloading them with nonstop dramas. These dramas impose too much information and stimulation for empaths to process. Their histrionics deplete us. Drama is a kind of drug that some people become addicted to. Don't enable that addiction. My patient Zoe was aggravated when a friend kept canceling their plans at the last minute with different excuses. Once he had a toothache and almost fainted. Another time his wallet was stolen and he had to go to the police station. Then he had a minor car accident without injury, but spent all day in the emergency room. Zoe was worn out by his dramatic episodes and tired of being stranded. Drama queens and kings get energized by our reaction to their drama, but they don't get rewarded when we remain calm. So stay consistently calm. Soon they will lose interest and look for someone else who will feed their drama. Protection strategy: protect yourself from drama queens and kings. Don't ask these people how they're doing. You don't want to know. Breathe deeply. When drama queens or kings start up, breathe deeply, stay calm, and do not get caught up in their story. Set kind but firm limits. For example, you might say to a friend who keeps canceling plans, "I'm sorry for all your mishaps, but let's not reschedule until things settle down for you and you can show up." Setting limits helps you communicate clearly and doesn't reinforce their behavior. And then the 5th energy vampire, control freaks and critics. These energy vampires always offer their unsolicited opinions, such as, "You know what you should do." Then they proceed to tell you whether or not you want to hear their advice. Or they continue to nitpick about the things that you're doing wrong, such as, "You forgot to put the dishes away again," or "You really need to learn how to park better." Empaths may take to heart a control freak's disapproval, particularly if they lack self-confidence. So they end up feeling attacked, depressed, and tired. Remember that an opinion requires no accountability and is subjective. Of course, it can be helpful to listen to criticism, but if the comment isn't constructive or doesn't make sense, it's not helpful. In general, criticism, especially ongoing nitpicking, can drain empaths. Protection strategy: protect yourself from control freaks and critics. Be assertive, but don't tell these types what to do because that will only make them defensive. Instead, say to them, I value your advice, but I want to think about how to approach this situation myself. Politely ask the person to stop criticizing you. Be firm and non-emotional. Don't play the victim. If you feel inadequate around a controller or a critic, identify the self-esteem issue that has been triggered and focus on healing it. The more secure you feel, the less these vampires can hurt you. And number 6, what I feel like right now, the non-stop talker. Non-stop talkers can drain the life force out of empaths with an endless verbal assault. I try to avoid these people because they grate on my nerves and sensitivities. They trap you and recount their life stories without pausing for a breath, and they don't give you any openings to interrupt them. They can also move in so close physically that they intrude on your personal space. You take a few steps backward and they take a few steps forward. You can't escape. There's a joke that there needs to be a 12-step program for addictive talkers called On and On and On. Empaths are incredible listeners, but often make the mistake of tolerating chronic talkers for too long. Then we become exhausted. To protect ourselves, empaths must address our tendency to people please. Everyone loves telling empaths their life stories because we're so attentive, but with chronic talkers, we must learn to set boundaries, a basic form of self-care. Protection strategy: protect yourself from non-stop talkers, okay? Non-stop talkers don't respond to your nonverbal cues. Simply looking impatient or restless doesn't work. You must interrupt them, as hard as this may be to do. Be tactful. Although you may really feel like saying, "Be quiet, you're driving me crazy," that would just make the person defensive or angry. Instead, smile and nicely say something like, "Please excuse me for interrupting, but I need to talk to someone else at this party," or "I have an appointment I must keep." A socially acceptable reason to leave that I often use is, "I have to go to the bathroom." State a request. With a family member or coworker, in a neutral and non-blaming tone, let them know, "I'd like to add to the discussion too. It would be great if you would allow me to contribute." If you convey this message without irritation, you will be better heard. Use humor. With people you know well who will understand, you can jokingly say, "The clock is ticking," as one good friend does with me when I get long-winded. Oh, there's 7. Sorry, there are 7. Okay, so that is the nonstop talker. Number 7 is the passive-aggressive people. Passive-aggressive people express their anger with a smile. They sugarcoat hostility, but you can intuitively sense the anger beneath their pleasant facade. They often procrastinate, conveniently forget, and make excuses for why they couldn't fulfill a commitment. These people seem so sincere, but they aren't dependable. They will promise you anything, but then do as they please. To make things even more difficult, narcissism and passive aggression can often be present in the same person, which is a double danger for empaths. Here are some examples of passive-aggressive behavior. Your partner keeps forgetting your birthday, though they know how important celebrating it is to you. A friend brings cupcakes to your house when she knows you are on a diet. Nosy neighbors promise to be quiet but aren't. A colleague keeps saying, "I'll get back to you" about a mutual work project, but never does, making you chase after him. Passive-aggressive people are known for making sarcastic comments about you and then saying, "Can't you take a joke?" They also sulk when they don't get what they want, but claim nothing is wrong. These are confusing messages for empaths who are much more direct. So, a protection strategy: protect yourself from a passive-aggressive people. Don't question your response to a passive-aggressive person. Just because their anger is so hidden doesn't mean it's not real. Trust your intuition. Recognize the pattern and address the behavior with the person. Focus on resolving one issue at a time so the passive-aggressive person doesn't feel attacked. For instance, if a friend keeps saying yes to helping you with the task but doesn't, tell them in a neutral tone. Please don't make a commitment if you can't follow through. Then notice how they respond. They might say, I apologize, I have to be more focused. Then see if their behavior changes. If it doesn't, you can raise the issue again or simply accept that this person is not dependable and stop making requests from them. If you can't get a direct answer, ask the person to clarify their position. It's important to address the behavior and find a solution. Being specific with someone who is passive-aggressive will make them take a stand. Use the above strategies to cope with the 7 types of energy vampires in your life. Then you will have the power, not them. Take an inventory of people who give you energy and those who drain you. You can create separate lists for work, home, and family, friends, and peripheral relationships. You might decide to completely stop having contact with some people who drain you. For those who must stay in your life, such as certain family members, decide what strategies to use and consistently implement them. Learning to set limits with emotional vampires will protect your sensitivities and enhance your well-being. I think there was a little affirmation in here. Yeah. So on one of these pages over by the Drama Queen and Kings, there's a little thing she wrote, and it says, smile and laugh more. It will keep the energy vampires away. And that's a direct quote from the author. And then we had another one over here. At least I thought so. Oh, well. Okay, so there we went. Oh, yeah, no, here it is. Okay, so it says, you cannot seek water from the one who drained your seas, and you cannot build a home for your worth inside of another being. The medicine when you return to yourself, where you will remember your strength, reclaim your own rhythm, and write your new song. Yeah, the medicine is when you return to yourself. Okay. That quote is from Victoria Erickson, and I kind of botched it, so I'm sorry about that. So I think we will stop there because that wraps up our 7 energy vampires with some strategies. Oh, you know what? There's one more little section here I can read because it really wraps it up. Dealing with an emotional hangover. So from any of these people or anything, it sounds like. Actually, no, it's more for the energy vampires. Although we may set excellent limits with energy vampires, it's still not uncommon for empaths to experience emotional hangovers, an energetic residue left over from the interaction. Toxic emotions can linger long afterward, which makes us feel exhausted, beset with brain fog, or even ill. When dealing with energy vampires, empaths often need time to recuperate later. In addition, try the following suggestions to address these hangover symptoms. How to cure an emotional hangover. Practice the shower meditation. When showering, stand under the stream of water and say this affirmation inwardly or aloud. Let this water wash away all the negative energy from my mind, body, and spirit. Feel the shower cleansing you and rejuvenating you. Use gemstones. Carry or wear one of these stones, a black tourmaline, an amethyst, or a black obsidian, to help ground yourself and remove an emotional hangover. Shamans teach that if you carry or wear black, you will be more protected. I wear a jade pendant of Kuan Yin, the Chinese expression of the goddess of compassion and a protector of goodness. I love how jade changes with my body chemistry and emotional shifts over the years. I have 2 of these stones, I'll show you, that I carry. One of them is a crystal quartz and the other one is obsidian, but crystal quartz is also very good for many things, so I carry these around in my pockets, especially at work, because you run into all types of people for longer periods of time at some jobs, and that would be my job, so I carry those around. Okay, so gemstones, that's where we left off. Smudge your space. I definitely do this. In Native American culture, burning medicinal or aromatic plants, a technique called smudging, clears negative and stagnant energy from a location. I love to burn sweetgrass. Its beautiful smell wafting through the air feels nurturing to my feminine essence. Sage is effective too. I also pick sprigs of cypress, eucalyptus, and juniper to burn. Experiment with the plant scents you respond to. I definitely smudge with white sage and Palo Santo, and I have several cypress trees out back, so maybe I should dry some of that out and try it in my house. I love the smell I don't love the smell of sage, so burning the Palo Santo brings it like, I don't know, it smells more like smoke, and it's a really, really amazing wood to burn. There's a lot of significance with Palo Santo if you're familiar with that. Use negative ion generators or salt lamps. These devices produce negative ions, and negative ions clear the air of dust, mold, spores, pollen, odors, cigarette smoke, bacteria, and viruses. They are also thought to remove leftover negativity in a home, an office, or other locations. A shower with its stream of moving water also produces negative ions. Light a white candle. This sets a meditative mood and quickly removes unpleasant energy from any surrounding. White contains all colors of the spectrum and creates calm and comfort. Spray rose water or use other types of aromatherapy. The delicate scent of rose water is lovely. I find it effective in soothing an emotional hangover. Inhaling lavender or spearmint essential oil is uplifting too. You can also select an essential oil and put it in a diffuser, which spreads the scent in the air. Try lavender, spearmint, juniper, sage, frankincense, or myrrh. Experience the sublime scent of any of these as they purify your energy and the room. Stay away from synthetic oils, though, because they contain toxic ingredients. And if I also understand right, there's certain oils that are not good for animals and children. And I think it definitely matters as far as the quality of the oil as well. Get out in nature. Hug a tree. Do some earthing by putting your bare feet or your entire body on the ground. Rejoice in the flowers. Hold a rock in your hand. Breathe in fresh air to cure an emotional hangover. Inhaling oxygen is a treatment for alcohol hangovers too. The purity of nature can restore your clarity and mood. Create a sacred space for meditation. Place candles, incense, flowers, a statue of Kuan Yin, or an image of a sacred teacher on a simple table in a quiet corner. Meditating in sacred space protects and builds positive energy, which is a balm for emotional hangovers. Seek emotional support. If negative energy is lingering from a toxic interaction, you may need some extra support to release it. Talking out the situation with a friend, I was trying to put those two words together, or therapist will allow you to voice and dispel any remaining negativity. Your goal as an empath is to protect yourself from energy vampires so you can experience maximum wellness. Along with the strategies you now have from this chapter, I strongly recommend that you continue your own emotional healing work. The law of attraction states that we attract what we give off, both positive and negative. As a result, we can attract and absorb negative emotions from others that we haven't resolved in ourselves. That's why we are extra sensitive to some people's energy, but not others. The more we heal our fears, angers, and anxieties, the less likely we will be to take these emotions on. As an empath, my emotional healing is a priority. I don't want to be weighed down by other people's issues. The ongoing progress I've made feels truly liberating. I consider every emotion and every person in our lives, including energy vampires, to be spiritual teachers or noble adversaries. They teach us to overcome negativity and to heal ourselves. They teach us to set boundaries and to learn to love ourselves more. Of course, no one would wish for toxic relationships, but when we encounter them, let's do everything possible to protect ourselves and to be the bigger person as we learn to forgive the part of others that has forgotten how to love. And we'll end with an empath affirmation. I will protect my energy around draining people. I will learn how to set healthy boundaries. I will learn to say no at the right times. I will listen to my intuition about the relationships that are nurturing for me. Okay, So that's it for chapter 5. We will be moving on to chapter 6, which is entitled Empaths, Parenting and Raising Sensitive Children. So we will start on that chapter in my next video. But for now, I hope that you have found this very helpful. I know that I have. If you like my videos and you like to see this kind of thing, or have any suggestions as far as what else we can read, please comment, or definitely like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. That would be appreciated. I would love for more people to be enlightened about something that I think more and more people are realizing about ourselves, especially as we awaken, as so many people have recently. It's pretty amazing to be a part of and to see. So until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.